make it to their distributor.
Is this an industry where it's common for customers to not be happy with the service they're getting?
I mean, in the Northeast where my district was, I mean, we had 850 stops a night. I mean, we ran at a 98.96 on-time delivery rate, which, you know, considering the Northeast and everything that goes on here throughout a year with weather, I'd say that's pretty darn good. But, you know, overall, we always did whatever it took to get the job done. You know, and we were able to do it at a cost-effective way. So, I mean, overall, the customers were always pretty happy with stuff. You know, every now and then, you know, I know that one year, you know, the whole Northeast got shut down. You know, there was a state of emergency in, 10 of the 13 states or whatever. So, you know, sometimes you just got to roll with those punches and, you know, pick it up the next day.
You mentioned that in addition to obviously cost being the primary driver here, there are some other considerations around service. You mentioned the ability to track deliveries. Is there meaningful differentiation between providers on that kind of stuff, or is that table stakes?
I mean, every provider usually has their own in-house way of tracking it. And then it also goes to the next level. I mean, I know at like GM locations, Lanter usually has guys on the dock at GM. But then there's other locations like John Deere that used to bring their product to our locations. So it's just a matter of what all you're offering in that bid as well. You know, are you offering the full service from you're going to pull it off our dock, get it to your cross dock, separate it again to your final mile trucks, or are we going to have to deliver that stuff to your cross dock and then go from there? So, you know, from there, you know, it's, hey, is stuff getting scanned in so that we can track each way where the packages are going, so that if we have any packages that are lost, we can track them back to where they got to without having any issues. And, you know, Lanter, most of those companies, I would say across the board, all those companies pretty much have the technology now that they can track all that stuff. So that's not new to the industry from that side of things.
Okay, so it sounds like that is more of a table stakes thing to bring to a negotiation. So I think that's helpful in terms of understanding the shared versus dedicated proposition. Maybe if we could think about how Lanter and other shared providers compete with other shared providers. So, I mean, our understanding of the industry is on the one hand, you have, you know, like you mentioned, the Black Horses of the world who are sort of offering a fundamentally different service model than a Lanter does. But then on the other side, you also have a lot of regional shared guys who benefit from having density in a particular geography. In those cases, is price really the only consideration for the customer?
The price isn't necessarily the only consideration. It's also how big is the network. I mean, some of these, you know, Lanter has such a huge network that, I mean, they expand pretty much most of the United States now, or go to most of the major cities, you know, and through those cities and stuff. So it all depends on their network as well. You know, where some of these smaller guys where, you know, someone like C&H might say, hey, we have, you know, 300 customers in this network and we want to make sure it gets done. They don't want a small transportation company coming in and say, well, we can do 120 of those, but you got to find somebody else to do the rest of them. You know, they want someone that's going to be able to supply all of their warehouses in that area amongst that. So it all depends on the network size you have, and from there, you know, and that's where Lanter had a pretty big advantage over some of these smaller guys, that they had such a big network to get the stuff there for the next day delivery. And then even companies that needed like 2-day delivery down to like Miami and Tampa, Lanter could still get that done as well because of their network.
Okay, so there is some advantage to scale